Have you ever heard something so strange, so deep, that you wonder why no one talks about it? There's a mystery in the Bible that many people miss. A mystery that involves one of the greatest men of God, and a shocking battle between an angel and the devil himself. The question is simple. Why did Satan fight over the body of Moses after his death? Why fight for something dead? What was so special about Moses' body? What secret was the devil trying to stop? Let's find out. Moses was not an ordinary man. He was chosen by God from the very beginning. As a baby, he was saved from death in Egypt. As a young man, he gave up life in the palace to follow God's plan. He led the people of Israel out of slavery. He stood before Pharaoh and called down 10 plagues. He split the Red Sea. He met with God face to face on Mount Sinai. He brought the 10 Commandments to the people. He led Israel through the desert for 40 years. God trusted Moses. The people respected him. But Moses was still human. He made a mistake. One day, God told him to speak to a rock so water would come out. But Moses hit the rock instead. Because of this disobedience, God said Moses would not enter the promised land. When Moses was 120 years old, God told him it was time. Moses climbed Mount Nebo and looked at the land of Canaan from far away. He saw the land, but he could not enter. And there, on that mountain, Moses died. But something strange happened after his death. The Bible says God himself buried Moses. No one knows where. No one found the grave. No one found the body, because God kept it hidden. But why? Why would God hide the body of Moses? The answer comes from a small but powerful verse in the book of Jude. Jude is one of the shortest books in the Bible. But in verse 9, it says something shocking. Michael the archangel, when he disputed with the devil over the body of Moses, did not bring a charge against him, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." Yes, you heard right. Satan came to fight for the body of Moses, and Michael, the archangel, stood against him. There was a dispute, a battle, a conflict. But what was Satan trying to do? Why would he want a dead man's body? Let's look deeper. Moses represented the law. He was the foundation of the old covenant between God and man. To the Jews, Moses was a hero, a prophet, a legend. If Satan could get his body, he could use it to deceive people. He could turn Moses into an idol. He could lead people to worship his grave. He could say he raised Moses from the dead. He could twist the truth. People might forget God and follow a fake version of Moses. Satan knows how to use what is holy and make it look like something else. That's why he wanted the body. He wanted to stop God's plan. But God sent Michael, the great warrior angel, to stop him. Michael didn't argue. He didn't insult the devil. He didn't curse him or shout. He simply said, "The Lord rebuke you." Those four words were enough. Michael spoke with God's authority, and Satan backed down. The body of Moses was protected. The plan of God stayed on track. Even after death, Moses was still part of something bigger. So why did God bury Moses in secret? Because he knew what people would do. He knew that humans might worship the body. He knew that Satan would try to use it to cause confusion. And most of all, God had future plans. Years later, during the ministry of Jesus, something amazing happened. Jesus went up on a mountain with Peter, James, and John, and suddenly he was transfigured, shining with glory. And beside him stood two people, Elijah and Moses. Moses was alive, speaking with Jesus, glorified, part of God's plan again. This is what Satan was trying to stop, but he failed. So, what can we learn from this story? It shows us how important we are to God, even after death. Satan tried to take Moses' body, but God sent his top angel to stop him. That tells you how much heaven values God's people. It shows that Satan is always trying to twist God's work. He tried to hijack the memory of Moses. He wanted to turn a holy man into a false god. It teaches us that we don't need to fight the devil with our own strength. Michael didn't argue. He simply said, "The Lord rebuke you," and the battle ended. Sometimes, you don't need to say much. Just stand in God's authority. Let God fight for you. On the mountain with Jesus, Moses represented the law, Elijah represented the prophets, and Jesus stood in the middle, brighter, greater, eternal. Then a voice came from heaven and said, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." God was saying, don't follow the law alone. Don't follow the prophets alone. Follow Jesus. He is the final word. Even Moses, the great leader, stood next to Jesus as a witness. Jesus completed the story. Now you know. Satan fought for the body of Moses because Moses still had power in God's plan. Satan wanted to stop that plan, but he lost. God protected Moses. God used Moses again, and God's plan moved forward. The same is true for you. If you belong to God, even after death, your story is not over. God watches over your life. God watches over your future. And no power in hell can stop what God has planned. Just like Moses, you are covered by heaven from beginning to end.